Hola, bom dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal live stream, YouTube channel, and podcast. Thank you to you, whichever way you join the project here, the Good Morning Portugal project. I hope you've had a great weekend and looking forward to being with you for the next, half hour or so as we take a look at the news, weather. The Casa de Dia will be interesting today because it's all connected with the Golden Visa program. Idea that it was not an idea; it's a reality here in Portugal, and I'll be updating you on the wealth and influx of settlers that scheme. It's a scheme, isn't it? A scheme that is bringing to Portugal right now in these economically doubtful times. So that's what's ahead of us. I wanted to let you know as well that look, I've got my wine for the next wine club, which will be this coming Saturday, under the excellent leadership of Eloise Healy. Look, that's the it's a beautiful label, isn't it? If you're a sort of person like me, previously before Eloise's excellent guidance, you chose on a label. That's a beautiful looking label, isn't it, Enrique? It's a Barreira wine. Not only the Baga grape that comes from this area, but also look on the label there, a Merlot and Loriga grapes as well. A little bit of a doubt whether we're looking at the 2015 or the 2016. Check me out with my different vintages. So grab that from Continent, which you can. I think you can only get the 2016 from Continent, and that's what we tend to do, is go with a wine that you can find easily, because otherwise we don't want to give you a hard time trying to find the wine that we're tasting. But 9 o'clock next Saturday, that's tasting number 3. The Enriquez Red Vino Tinto, made of the Baga, Merlot, and Loriga grapes, most likely. Although if we can find the 2015, we'll take a look at that. Also to announce to you as well that we are launching the sports report. Now, when it comes to sport, you may have gathered I'm a bit of a nerd. You know, I have a passing interest, but I recognize it's of a lot of interest to the expat community. It's a way of keeping in touch with home, isn't it? Obviously, if you've got a favorite football team or whatever, or you follow the Premiership, it's a nice way of keeping in touch with the old place. So I recognize that sport is really important to a lot of people. And yes, so with the wine club, we're under the excellent leadership of Eloise Healy. With sport, I'll be under the leadership of Calvin Avery, he of the Yellow Brick Road Property Development Company here in Portugal. Calvin, massive sports fan, and it's looking likely we'll do a Saturday morning sports report, having a look at the fixtures. I think I'll encourage him to make a few predictions, and then we can review them as the weeks go by. But we're open to checking out any kind of sport. Obviously, football will have a principal focus, but let's have a look at Portuguese sport as well. Obviously, football is massively popular in Portugal, so football won't be a problem. But there are other sports that I wasn't familiar with that I only discovered here. So that's coming soon, probably in line with the return of the Premiership. Okay, so a few of your comments already. Thank you so much. And good morning. Thank you to Astrid Fernandes from Expats Portugal, who mentioned that we're looking at the Golden Visa this morning. So I think there are a few extra people in the building this morning who are joining us. Do say who you are and where you're from. This is a very warm and welcoming community, excuse me, as you'll see here. Steve and Claire and Steve say it's a lovely day in the Algarve this morning. You've got some great weather to come as well. John Cunningham, Foz de Relho over in that part on the Silver Coast, the silver fox of the Silver Coast. Actually, I might be besmirching his hair color there. I can't remember, John. I just want to call you the Silver Fox of the Silver Coast, and there's probably quite a lot of people vying for that title. Morning, Carl. Yes, sport report. In fact, I think, as I recall, I think he has a fine mop of jet black hair. Wayne Barker, bon dia, meus amigos. Good morning to you. Bon dia to you as well, Wayne. And we need to drill into bon dia, don't we, at some point? You know, as I'm riding around on my bike in my town, I'm saying to people, bon dia, or I'm more effusive, like, hola, bon dia. And then it might be a bon dia. What's right? We need to check with the native Portuguese speakers among us. You know, do you do a full-on hola, bon dia, or do you do like some of those old blokes do? Dia. Let us know which is appropriate. Yes, so sport report. Yeah, a big yes from John Cunningham. Good morning to. This is almost the Castanera de Pera show. You've got to check out Peter's unofficial guide to his hometown, which he loves and is the unofficial ambassador for. Oops, I thought we were meant to open the bottles now. He's already started ahead of next Saturday, but Peter's doing amazing work in Castanera de Pera. He has. Maybe you could put the link in the comments, Peter, to your new guide. And I'm sure we'll take a look at that because we will encourage people to make their own map guides of where they live. It's so easy to do with the technology now. And just finally, before we have a quick look at the news, finally, in terms of comments, we're on for a little while. Don't worry yet. We've got to look at the weather and the golden visa, of course. Good morning. Just popping in quickly to say hello. We'll catch up tonight. Thank you very much, Veronica. Appreciate that. 2 bites of the cherry, 2 bites of the Fundao cherry, possibly. Neil Perkins, good morning to you. Rising with the cockerel, perhaps, and a round of applause from Neil. I don't know. I don't know if I've translated those emoticons correctly. And Silver Fox, haha, I'll take that. You could call me Ravanelli. He's all right about that. I haven't upset him. And there's the link to Peter's map. And from just on the comments there, bon dia in the Carl style, not the low voice, old boy style. So you know exactly what I mean, Joseph, right? Like, hola, bon dia is how we're going at it, generally speaking. But yeah, you'll pass an old guy in the village, won't you, who might be on his bike as well with his traditional beret, who's a bon dia. Okay, yeah, I'm hoping to go into that more and find out from Portuguese people what they favour. So look at the weather now. In the principal parts of Portugal, as I see it anyway, quick look at Lisbon, Porto, Coimbra, and Faro. Faro, as I say, is looking forward to 29 degrees next weekend. A full weekend of a full week of cloudless skies. Currently 18, but going up to 25 today, 27 tomorrow, 26, 25, 26, 28, 29 by next Sunday. Lucky people down there in the south of Portugal, if you like, sun. Coimbra, currently 15, sunny day there. A little bit of cloud to come, and a little bit of cloud will represent itself on Friday. But Wednesday and Thursday, Saturday and Sunday, really hot days. 29 as well in Coimbra next weekend. Porto, currently overcast, letting the side down a little bit. But by Wednesday, highs of 20, rising to 25 next Sunday, giving you a weekly weather view at the moment. Lisboa, 18 at the moment. Sunny day there. Sunny week there. 24 degrees will be the high today. 25, 24, 24, 24, 25, 29 by next weekend. So let's have a look at some of the districts. You may request them that we look at the weather in your district. Aveiro is 21 degrees. Is the high to look forward to. 15 currently, a bit cloudy, but better sunny days coming by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and a nice warm 24 degree weekend. Beja, 16 degrees at the moment. Sunny all week, 35 degrees by Sunday anyway. 31 degrees on Saturday, 35 degrees forecast on Sunday. Braga, currently overcast, high of 19 today, but yet moving as the weather gets better in terms of sunshine. We're looking from Thursday onwards, nice temperatures rising to 30 in Braga. Castelo Branco, as you imagine as well, nice sunny week, 25 degrees the high, 32 to look forward to by Sunday. Évora, 35 to look forward to by Sunday with a nice sunny week. La Area, only a cloudy day on Wednesday and Friday, but a sunny weekend to look forward to. So a sunny weekend next weekend to look forward to, and a kind of warm up throughout the week. Santarém, the same, 32 degrees to look forward to next Sunday. Viseu, 30 degrees and 21 the high today. All very comfortable, all very manageable. Quick look at the autonomous districts as well. The Azores, 20 degree. Oh, some rain in the Azores today. 15 degrees currently, 20 degrees and rain. But a nice sunny week to look forward to. And actually, it's going to be a bit cloudy towards next weekend. And Madeira is 18 degree high today, 18 degrees next weekend. So, yeah, and some rain in the islands. It would appear the weather not as good as it's going to be on the mainland. And just very quickly, the areas we don't often look at, Viana do Castelo, for example, 20 degree high today, a bit cloudy, but 25 degrees to look forward to. Similarly, in Villarreal, in Setúbal, in Porto Alegre and Guarda, great weather coming for next weekend and really brightening up by Thursday and Friday. Guarda, the only place to have a little bit of wind, if you get my drift, on Wednesday. So a little bit of wind. Yeah, a little bit windy, I think, midweek. Must be the mountain effect there. Okay, so any more of your comments before we have a quick look at the news? Neil Perkins, is he a bit tired this morning? I think he's maybe a bit tired if I'm translating his emoticons correctly. Sports news in Castanera de Pera. This Friday, our futsal. This is the sport we wanted to learn about. Friday, futsal players will be having an indoor 2-meter distancing, no tackling, kick around at our village social club in Pera, followed by a barbecue. It sounds perfect, doesn't it? And from Owen, good morning, beautiful people from Owen in Villa de Rey. The image this morning, if I take myself out of the picture, yeah, I don't think I can be heard, but that's courtesy of Gary Austin, that beautiful. And that was the sunrise over that wonderful part of Portugal, Alvazra, which I'm sure Gary will probably do an unofficial guide to Alvazra, a great part of the world, great part of the country. And thank you for that wonderful picture. So get those morning pictures in. That is actually a sunrise over Alvazra. So what I need is your good morning Portugal pictures. How do you greet the world in your part of Portugal? Can you take a snap of that for me? And we'll stick it up as the show begins here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream. We'll grace the screen with your pictures. So please do send them in. And we've had some beautiful pictures so far from the likes of Peter, from Owen, and from Gary this morning. I want to share a bonkers story with you now. Crocodile spotted in the Douro River. Can you believe that? Spanish authorities launches a search for a very aggressive crocodile in the Douro. I don't think that's the actual one. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? I want to read this to you because it's really. I mean, it's like, oh my God, COVID, and now racial unrest all around the world. And people are saying, what next? Alien invasion, plagues of locusts, plagues of flies, it feels like at the moment here. Maybe it's the killer crocodiles that are coming next in this fascinating year of 2020. The Spanish Civil Guard Nature Protection Service, the Seprona, have launched a search operation for a crocodile weighing around 250 kilos. Now, that's a big fella you don't want to meet in the river while you're having a little swim, which was spotted on the section of the Douro River between Simancas and Tordesillas. According to experts, it's a Nile crocodile, a species considered very aggressive. Now, I didn't know there was that distinction. Are there some really chilled crocodiles as well as the Nile aggressive ones who are in denial, obviously, about their childhoods, and that's why they're so angry, maybe, and had already been detected by 3 different people between Friday the 5th of June and Saturday the 6th of June. I'm laughing nervously. I'm not laughing because it's funny. In the Pesquerella area near Valladolid. Searches by authorities and biologists began on the 7th of June and involved 10 people and the support of drones, which have already made it possible to discover 2 nests in this area at the mouth of the Puiserga in the Douro, popular with fishermen, canoeists, and bathers. The nests have already been analysed by elements of Seprona, as well as remains of fish with identified bites that pointed to a Nile crocodile. 2 young men around 13 years old were the first to spot the animal and inform the police of Simancas on Friday the 5th of June. Can you imagine that? 2 teenage lads saying, we've seen a crocodile. It's like, yeah, all right, lads, move on. But no, according to the newspaper El Pash, these 2 lads found or spotted the crocodile. An agent went the next day in no hurry, clearly, to the indicated area and confirmed the young people's report, asking some fishermen to leave the area without, however, explaining the reason for the request to avoid generating panic. There's no better way to generate panic than to clear an area and not tell people why, right? The area has since been isolated by the Spanish authorities, who have also set up some traps. That's going to be some trap for a 250-kilo crocodile of the aggressive kind from the Nile and in the water to try and capture the reptile, and will be proceeding with caution until the reptile is located. My goodness, what do you make of that? Fantastic Crocs into Europe. Before now, the only Crocs we had were the rather controversial footwear. Now, of course, it is the actual crocodile has been spotted. It might be like the sort of Loch Ness Monster equivalent over in that part of the world. Who knows? Not a croc, it's a dragon headed home to Portugal. Don't start rumors like that, Gary. We don't want to besmirch the reputation of this community with scurrilous rumors like that. I threw caution to the wind the other day and went over to the old fella we were going back to Mondiana, who lives across the road from me. He doesn't speak a word of English, but we managed a very pleasant hour together, sharing a bottle of aguardente. No better way, is there? That is the language, the international language of partnership, brotherhood, and sisterhood, obviously. I managed somehow to find out a lot more than I ever thought I could. Yeah, sometimes just got to go for it. Absolutely, that's the way, Gary. Nice one. So as well as Portuguese with Paulo from Peter, we might be having some Portuguese from Gary's new mate as well. Audio gone. Well, I don't know why that would be. I'm not hoping it's just you, John, but I'm hoping, do you see what I mean? That it's just a local problem with your technicalities there. And hopefully I'm still broadcasting loud and proud elsewhere. Looking forward to the sport report. River swimming. How do we cover that? We'll have to do a sort of on-the-spot river swimming special, won't we? There's so many ideas for us for having a meetup. Obviously, Castellano de Pera is one venue where we might meet up. And we could go to the river beach, can we? Goish as another, and cover river swimming there and then. So many wonderful river beaches. I'm a big fan of river beaches in Portugal. So many to choose from. And yeah, it is basically a sport, isn't it? A family sport. Okay, more news for you. Here's a bit of background to the golden visa. A slightly alarming, but I mean, really, if you thought about it, this is always going to be happening. This is from the Portugal resident. State coffers could be emptier than feared, says public finance chief, who I'm imagining is this lady here. I've said before, haven't I, that this is going to be worse than 2008. Recession. Let's just be honest about it. Let's be grown-ups about this. The economies of the Western world, so not the economies of the Western world, the Western style economies. Let's call it that. The neoliberal economies have had a bashing of the order of magnitude, which we just thought was bad in 2008, but this is far worse, and it's all kind of in the post. The implications, the results, the consequences of this, of the COVID pandemic that not many people could see coming, and the effects are devastating. So here in Portugal, state coffers could be emptier than feared due to the coronavirus outbreak. Nazaré Costa Cabral, president of the Council of Public Finances, founded the alert during an online conference debating the fiscal effects of COVID-19. Can you imagine? This is a public official, and he comes to her bit on the online conference, and she says, well, actually, had a look in the coffers, and they're a bit emptier than we thought they might be. I mean, that's a euphemism, isn't it? For like, oh dear, the creek, the paddle, you get the drift. Crocodile in the water as well. As countries elsewhere counting the cost of the pandemic, the UK, for example, they cite here, has just seen its economy shrink by a fifth. Ms. Costa Cabral stressed, my concern is that there could be companies that purely and simply aren't able to pay the taxes facing them. By that, I mean taxes that have mounted up, including social security contributions. Extensions to pay limits could be one answer. It's not an answer, is it? It's a way of kicking it down the street, but only if the crisis doesn't continue for much longer. But then again, isn't all economics a matter of kicking it down the street? In a growth economic system, I won't rant too much, but in a growth economic system, you can't keep on extracting and inflating the bubble. At some point, all the stuff that you're kicking down the street will come home to roost. Perhaps that time is coming now, and I'm not all gloom and doom. I think this is the heralding of a new era of how we can do economics and politics and be citizens. Okay, and the controversy of how economics works will be showcased beautifully in our discussion about the golden visa, I'm sure. So extensions to payment limits could be one answer. But only if the crisis doesn't continue for much longer, she adds. If it does, she predicts businesses will end up having to declare bankruptcy, leaving a major question mark over the knock-on effects of the state treasury. Ms. Costa Cabral's remarks were made before the government released its plan for the supplementary budget, which has allowed for a drop in tax revenue of 5.2 billion. This is dwarfed massively by the golden visa, according to another story I'm going to share with you in a moment. So maybe that's why it's all about the golden visa soon, and inward investment, mainly from China, it has to be said. But as Diario de Noticias adds, this doesn't reduce the risks of shortfalls, as there are still risks regarding credit lines extended since March. Extending credit lines again, is not a sustainable solution, is it? It's just part of blowing up the bubble. But anyway, like I said, I don't want to go on too much about my particular view on that. This is a community where we discuss all aspects of this and come up with some solutions. I mean, what I would say is that we mustn't feel like victims of politics or economics or government, because as soon as you start complaining about the government, you are making yourself a victim, and I don't think that's healthy. Together, we need to come up with solutions here, and that's coverage there. Natasha Don, great coverage, Natasha, as ever at the Portugal Resident. I found your coverage really helpful during this whole pandemic thing, and I'm sure subsequently as well. Portugal Resident there, a good source of news for you, emanating from the Algarve. Thank you, Natasha. So, any more comments from you? Oh, hello, Julie. Good morning to you. I thought of you yesterday as I tucked into a fizzy red, an unusual wine, peculiar to my district here, I think, of Bairrada, the wine-producing region of Bairrada. I was thinking of you because you like your rosé, don't you? I was thinking it was a full-bodied fizzy red, quite amazing. Oh, I see. This Wayne was making the connection between the crocodile and river swimming. I think. Just don't go river swimming, says Joseph in the Douro. It's captured our imaginations, hasn't it, that story? Great idea for a new sport, race the crocs. Not taking this at all seriously, are we? And actually, someone did sort of poo-poo that story as well, I have to say. They said it was old news. I don't know if it was somebody trying to allay fears or whatever, but, it's one to keep an eye on, isn't it? And as John says, I know, as Joseph says, don't go to the Douro, Wayne. I love you all. Let's now go to, so we've looked at the state coffers, not much in there. We've looked in the Douro, found a suspected crocodile. Golden Visa next. Strangler's song comes to mind, which I'm sure John Cunningham would like. He's into the older Strangler stuff, of course, but Golden Visa, Golden Brown. Let's have a look at what the Portugal news story is saying about the Golden Visa. What they're saying is Golden Visa investment almost triples, right? This is from the 12th, from last Friday. Investment raised through Golden Visas almost tripled, 192% in May, compared to the same month of 2019, to 146 million. Oh, I see. Okay. I thought there was a lot more than that. According to statistics from it must be more than that. According to statistics from the Foreigners and Borders Service, the SEF, last month, the total investment resulting from the granting of residence authorization for investment, ARI, reached. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I see. Yeah, 146,168,473. But that is only in 1 month, which represents an increase of 192% compared to 50 million recorded in May of 2019. What's going on? Read between the lines, everybody, and let me know what you think. May recorded the highest monthly investment amount raised since March 2017, when 192.4 million were raised in ARI in relation to April in relation to April, 28 million. The investment raised more than quintupled. Sorry, I've made a real hash of reading that, but 421%. In the first 5 months of the year, the total investment raised through Golden Visas totaled 293,903,059 and 1 cent. I don't know why they bothered to put. 1.7% less than a year earlier. Between January and May, 520 new Golden Visas were issued, of which more than half last month. Wow, something's occurring, isn't it? In May, 270 Golden Visas were granted, of which 257 through the acquisition of real estate, of which 73 were for urban rehabilitation, and 13 through the capital transfer criterion. And I'll tell you more about how it works in just a moment, okay? Because I found a really good sort of a British lawyer who specializes in this. It's quite amazing. He's got some great graphics on his website, which we'll have a look at in a moment. The purchase of real estate totaled 136.9 million. Urban rehabilitation amounted to 26.2 million, and the transfer of capital 9.2 million. This is the interesting figure to me. Of the total Golden Visa concessions in May, 68 came from China, 30 from Brazil, 19 from the United States, 19 from India, and 17 from Turkey. Turkey, wow. Now, of course, this represents the the wealth of individuals, doesn't it, rather than countries. It's important, I think, to look at the nuances of this. But before we do, let's go look at how the scheme works. Going to drill a bit more into this. Going to hold my own tongue, I think, on what I think of. I'm very interested in what you think about this, those of you who are tuned in and staying for the extended version of the show. And we do have amazing Casa do Dia, the likes of which we don't normally feature, but it's related to how the golden visa works. So let me share with you now. This is quite a busy site, so it might crash. It might crash the show. Let's see if it works or not. Yes, great. This lad here, I say, because he looks younger than me anyway. Isn't that amazing? Lawyers always used to be old people when I was a kid. Now they are youngsters like Tom Bradford here, who may just be youthful looking. Who knows? But 7 steps to Portuguese residency. This is using the golden visa scheme, okay? So this is quite elaborate, but it's quite interesting. So bear with me. Take a sip of coffee, and then let me know what you think. You only need to invest now 350,000. It used to be a 500,000. Now it's 350,000. You don't have to reside physically in Portugal. The only requirement is 2 weeks in Portugal for every 2-year renewal period. And the Casa do Dia I'm going to share with you is perfect for that purpose. The whole industry is building around the golden visa. The EU second residency programs offer increased freedom of movement, potentially an excellent second passport. Portugal launched its, golden visa program in 2012. It's been one of the most popular schemes in Europe due to its flexibility and affordability. Under this program, for a qualifying €350,000 real estate investment in Portugal, you and your family are entitled to EU residency. A key advantage to securing residency under this program is that you can apply for permanent residency after 5 years without having to physically reside in Portugal. Now, that's where it gets a bit odd, isn't it? It's kind of a bit James Bond and like super rich kind of shenanigans, isn't it? The only requirement is to spend 2 weeks in Portugal for every 2-year renewal period. So the Portuguese real estate visa route is potentially a great option if you're looking to the European Union for your second residency. Like nice work if you can get it, right? Make an application. You can invest 500,000 or in real estate or 350,000 in regeneration areas. And that's why I think personally this is really good, because it's attracting investment into other parts of Portugal now. One of the criticisms, of course, of the 500,000 investment into property is that it all went into Lisbon and Porto, right? Or the Algarve. And then that boosted up property prices and made it difficult for other people. This is how modern neoliberal economics work. Okay, of course, how growth economics work. And for the rehabilitation scheme of property, the property must be over 30 years old and may require renovation. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can do that yourself. You can go back to tombradford.com and have a look, because he's got loads of videos as well. It's really very helpful. And you see here, family members receive the same rights. You'll also be eligible for permanent residence after 5 years, as he said before, and Portuguese citizenship after 6 years of residency. Bear in mind that for citizenship, you must have actually been physically resident in the country. As part of the application, you'll have to submit the necessary documents. Only 2 weeks though, right? For every 2 years or every year. The investment in real estate equal to €350,000 is an approved regeneration in an approved regeneration property. So that's good news for bringing life back to some of the other parts, where there is desolation. Let's face it, because of previous economic problems, people have deserted their properties, and there are properties available. I'm sure you can get amazing, land and property for €350,000 and regenerate that property and get a residency into the bargain. Temporary residence permit, he talks about as well. You'll be granted a temporary residence permit, which lasts a year. After that, you can renew it for 2-year periods. After 5 years, you can apply for permanent residence permits for you and your whole family. Requirements, let's have a look. The requirements, as we've said before, 500,000 in regular real estate or 350,000 in a regeneration style property. Whilst you don't need to visit Portugal to apply, even you must spend a minimum of 2 weeks in Portugal during each 2-year renewal period if you are aiming for permanent residence. And granted citizenship here. Throughout the process, the investment in real estate must be maintained in order to be granted citizenship. Quite right too, right? Tax planning. And obviously, Tom here, understandably, is promoting the services of he and his colleagues, and says here, look, after the economic crisis, prices are still low and possibly below their peak. Investors will also obviously be looking at the non-habitual residency taxation scheme. The market has been improving over recent years, and the tourism industry has seen significant growth. This is obviously written pre-COVID. So real estate developments are generally considered a promising investment opportunity, particularly in Lisbon. And it's really excellent. And then he gives a case study and he drills down into the 350,000 euro real estate route. And there's a timeline as well. It's really well explained. So many thanks to Tom Bradford, tom-bradford.com for that, who implores you to have a chat with him. Just click on the button and you can do that. So really excellent work. And thank you to Tom Bradford for illustrating. I mean, there's a lot of information on the web about the Golden Visa Scheme. But, the thresholds, it's 500,000 traditionally in real estate, and it's caused a real flurry of excitement and investment, as you can see from the story I shared with you. But more recently, there is this new bracket of 350,000 in properties, there you go, that will be regenerated, that are likely to be outside the normal areas that are pushing all the prices up. But there you go. That's the world of the big boys in economics, isn't it? It is accentuating the difference between rich and poor. And, we need to come up with some clever solutions to this. And in the post-pandemic recession, we have a clearing in which to come up with ideas. And as I said, not to be victims of this, but to come up, we are the citizens, we are the people. It's our world. It's our, where you live is your country, isn't it? It's your community. So I think it's really important to not feel like a victim at the moment, and to step up with some ideas. And that's what I'm encouraging, obviously, with you here in the chat here. So not a single word about it. Maybe everyone's gone to sleep after my Golden Visa presentation. Thanks to Tom Bradford there. Bear with me one moment. We'll put Gary Austin's picture back on for just one moment. Okay, back again. Yeah, actually, one comment here from Wayne Barker. Let me know what you think, guys, about this. This is serious, right? About the impact on the economy, and it is a way of regenerating, the economy in the most basic kind of predictable terms. Inward investment, big money being attracted for benefits and perks like residency. What happens when the bubble bursts and those investments and regeneration come to a grinding halt? Lots of properties like that in Greece. Good point, Wayne. So I think what you're suggesting there is that perhaps people start investing, then if there is a further disruption and recession with the economy, that investment will stop and it will be pushed forward a little bit and then it will come to a grinding halt. Yeah, good point. And, shouldn't we at the moment be looking at more sustainable options for how we regenerate, how we develop? And an idea I had, tell me what you think of this. Why not give residents, well, I suppose everyone does get residency ultimately if they come and buy a property here, but why not speed that up? Why not make it shorter than 5 years? This idea, if you don't know already, after 90 days of being in Portugal, you make it known that you're here and you can apply for residency at that point. And after 5 years, and you can get residency at that point, and that lasts for 5 years. And then after which you can apply to become a citizen of the country. And of course, we were all given citizens' rights, us estrangeiros, during the pandemic. And I don't know whether at what point that's lifted and relieved as part of the current bargain. But why not give people residency and citizenship on a shorter timescale if they're investing in the country? And I would suggest bring the threshold right down, or on buying any property and land. And obviously, you've got to do something to stop those chancers and opportunists, I was going to call them, who just buy 1,000 euros worth of land to get residency. I think a prerequisite here, and I understand why they have to make it really attractive to the super rich who might not want to live here, but it does seem odd to me that you would give residency and citizenship to people who don't live here, when in fact the real economy is about people being here most of the time, isn't it? And being part of local economies, being part of local communities, and paying tax, a purchase tax, not just income tax, but actually being involved in generating wealth by being here. How do you generate wealth if you're not here, apart from just dropping a big load of cash into the Portuguese financial ecosystem with a big purchase and not being here. And we're not going. That's not going to help with haunted places, is it? And dormitory places where people only come for 2 weeks a year. And this is the property I'm going to show you in just a moment. It's quite extraordinary. It's tailored completely to, and I will finish with that. It's tailored completely to the Golden Visa. Neil Perkins adds, we've been looking at property for a year, and without a doubt, vendors have been advised to increase the asking price of their property in the hope of securing a Golden Visa applicant who know they have to pay, $500,000. It's going to affect things, isn't it? Absolutely. So, so for those who aren't super rich, it makes it more difficult, and that's most of us, right? That's most of the rest of us. The 99%, if you like. Incentives should be made for redevelopment of property rot. For property not affordable housing. I'm not sure what you mean there, Gary, but I get the gist. Profit can still be made. Okay, so incentives should be made for redevelopment of property and affordable housing, presumably. That's what we need, isn't it? Portuguese people need to live in their own towns and countries as well. And this is obviously just this big dropping of cash in investment by people who aren't even going to live here is only going to push prices up. So you can do that. You can do both, can't you? You could do that and not prohibit people being able to live in their own towns and communities because they've been gentrified. We've seen this, haven't we, in Lisbon and Porto? And it's just not right that, people, the indigenous people, if you like, can't live in their own neighborhoods. That's just really poor. But I'm sure you can get a balance. This is the thing here, isn't it? It's finding a balance of inward investment and actually helping local people and people who aren't super rich to actually create local economic wealth. Like lots of people contributing a little bit might actually be better than a few super rich, giving a little bit. Just my views and a few views shared here, open to all points of view on this, obviously. There is some artificial inflation of prices, but we also have seen properties that have been on the market for a while drop by 80,000 to 100,000. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, prices often are completely made up, aren't they? It's a bit of a aspirational pricing going on, and obviously the deal is the deal. You make your offer and you find out what happens, and that, it's worth doing that, obviously. And Gary adds plenty of need for rental property. Absolutely. And rental property is a really good part of an economy, isn't it? But I favor people being able to have their own place. Why not encourage rent to buy? And again, have lots of people contributing a little bit. That's a healthy and sustainable taxation model, as far as I can see, rather than relying on, sort of whimsical investment. Because the problem, of course, is if you attract people, other countries might attract them with other benefits, and then you lose them. And they never lived here in the first place, except for 2 weeks of the year. So many more of your thoughts are most welcome about this. And I'm sure we will return to the whole discussion about the Golden Visa. Plenty of information on the web. I mean, if that is your route for coming into Portugal, good luck to you. And there is lots of information about, and, $500,000, if you compare that to a lot of countries, that's not necessarily a super rich property, is it, anymore? And obviously coming from where, if you're used to, you can buy a semi-detached house in UK for 500,000, and then you'll get something incredible, and you'll get citizenship and residency in Portugal most likely as well for that sort of investment, and get a beautiful place to live in a beautiful country. And that's what this is all about on the Good Morning Portugal show, is being here in this amazing country. And I'm sure we will continue to debate and discuss the little political and economic nuances. And God knows we have to right now. We are in a very interesting situation that is unfolding before our eyes. So let me just share with you, before I leave this morning, one of those super rich properties. It was all too much. It was all too much for the technology to cope with that. Let's try it one more time, and let's go to this 5-star place. Now, this is a website. I think it even carries the name golden visa. Yeah, La Vida golden visas. This is goldenvisas.com. And you can see this is the industry that has developed around the whole scheme, and it's set out there for you. 350,000 is the lower bracket for coming in for golden visa. Access to real estate, full family residency, flexible, no requirement to reside, and citizenship from 5 years thereafter. And I want to show you this place here. This is a 5-star hotel investment. Now, how this works, obviously, you can see the price point there, 550,000 euros. You live here. And when we first came to Portugal, we ended up on a golf resort that looked a lot like this. And it was fabulous. It was great fun. And not what we were ultimately hoping for, but it was very nice to enjoy this for a little while. And yeah, residency visa involved at that price point. For that, you get a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom. This is the place where you stay, I guess, in your 2 weeks of the year that you're here to qualify for the golden visa. And you get a guaranteed return. Well, that's quite a claim, isn't it? 25% paid over a minimum of 5 years. This is a 25-year management and rental agreement with the world's leading hotel group. So basically what you're doing is you're getting a place, you're kind of owning, it's a bit of a timeshare really, a place in a 5-star hotel resort. And I'll show you the pictures of that in just a moment, but it's located in Cascais. 5-star resort surrounded by an abundance of recreational activities, dining experiences, schools, shopping, a wide variety of cultural experiences, and a 30-minute drive from Lisbon. The result is in close proximity to 5 world-renowned golf courses, a tennis and racket club, a yacht club, a horseback riding centre. The property also provides an extensive list of facilities, including restaurants, bars, a refreshing outdoor swimming pool, a relaxing spa, and a well-equipped gymnasium. So there you go, fully furnished 1 or 2-bedroom luxury sites ranging from 550,000. This is the one I'm focusing on here, to 1,050,000. Investment in existing freehold property, ongoing performance-related annual income. This is not guaranteed, but projected to be 5%. To them that have it shall be given, right? Investors are able to use the property for up to 4 weeks of the year, and no additional management costs, free membership to the health spa, additional discounts for services available at the resort and with local partners. Preferential rates at the resort are also applicable to family and friends. Assistance with the resale of the property. Shouldn't be too hard to sell that on, right? So there's your outer picture. And like I was saying, you know, in the UK, you might have a flat, an apartment, and like an okay sort of area in London, and it would have cost you 500,000 quid. Right, then you can exchange that lifestyle. I wouldn't want to live in London personally right now. And if I was sat in a flat that was maybe before the whole pandemic recession was worth, you know, 500,000-600,000, you could exchange your life for this, although only for 4 weeks of the year. So you'd have to go on the road for the rest of the year around Portugal. What's not to like about that? Look, another aerial view, obligatory drone shot, mountains in the distance there, and look at the beautiful interiors that you get to enjoy at this 5-star resort as part of this golden visa package. Quite incredible. There's your restaurant area there, lounge, all very, very nice, as you might expect. And look, the big overview and a view of the sea there of this 5-star resort. That's what you're up against, or that's what you're entitled to for an investment of 550,000 euros here in Portugal, and qualifying immediately for the golden visa scheme. And thanks to goldenvisas.com for this little window into that world of La Vida Loca, La Vida Douro, the golden life and golden visas here. Yeah, and you know, it's a departure, as I said, from what we normally talk about on the Good Morning Portugal live stream. You know, we're a lot focused on happy homesteading, and this is a different part of the lifestyle spectrum. Okay. Do excuse me. Nothing serious, I can assure you. So, parting comment here from Wayne Barker. Thanks. A 45-minute episode. Helping and sharing economy. You help me build, and I'll help you too. I think this is the way it's going, based on the Treaty of Windsor. Those that need help, the other will offer succor. This is the alliance between the Portuguese and the British, and I think we're co-opting that for the happy homesteading future, where I think it makes a lot of sense to be a lot more self-sufficient and interdependent. You help me build, I'll help you too. I think that's how some of those eco-friendly earth houses are developed. Absolutely. Self-build communities absolutely did that, buying a piece of land, which probably cost a lot less than 500,000 for a little hamlet of villages, and each of the families works on each other's houses, and they probably live in caravans or whatever or nearby until they're built, and everyone helps everybody else. I think you're absolutely right to point out, Wayne. This is the future, isn't it, of mutual help, rather than these kind of a particular kind of world we've created where you can just hit anything with money, and sort of protect yourself, exclude yourself with money. Now, as attractive as that is and sounds, it doesn't seem to be working very well, I'm thinking, and it's very precarious. And this is what we found with our economy, isn't it? It hasn't been very resilient, is the word, isn't it? It's used. These are not resilient economies that we've created. They're just sort of boom and bust. And we are in, I think, the bust cycle at the moment. And this is where the ingenuity and creativity can come to the fore, because necessity may well be the mother of invention. And it may bring on a lot more partnership, collaboration, and community-focused activity, rather than saying, well, I've got me £500,000, I'm going to get a golden visa, and I'm all right, Jack. Can't we have a hybrid of all of that? Can't we have incredible citizenship and residency packages that are based on smaller investments, that are actually schemes that really encourage local investment, not just investment of money, but investment of time, investment of you putting your body on the ground, with your family, and being part of an area where you're getting integral into the local economy. That, to me, would be visionary economics, and I hope it's something we can look forward to. I'm going to stop talking now and wish you a very good Monday, as we look forward to a fabulous week of warm weather here in Portugal, certainly by the end of the week, and by the weekend, looks like it's going to be glorious. So that's what part of what we came here for, right? Glorious Portuguese spring and summer, and wish you a very good day today. Bom dia to you, até amanhã, até logo, take care, and bye for now.